Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another look at the War Thunder Ground Forces closed beta test. Now, you're probably wondering why we have this strange perspective here. This is the recently added simulator battle mode, which many of you may be accustomed to within War Thunder Air Forces. They've finally added a version of it to the Ground Forces beta. I didn't really think that we would see it. We've been dealing with arcade and realistic, but now they've added a version of simulator. Now, what's different currently? And keep in mind, everything you see is subject to change. This view mode, it's probably temporary. I'm sure in the future they would love to have interiors and whatnot, just like with the planes. But right now, you have a camera that's above the turret, kind of like a commander outside the hatch view. And then you also have the scoped in or gunner view inside the tank. That's it. You can't pull out and be third person. You are limited to these two views currently. Now, what else have they changed? Well, the name tag problem has been sorted in simulator battles. Your opposing forces no longer display on your screen. You can't see them behind trees, and they can't see you as well. And that's a fantastic addition. It's something that we've been trying to get in realistic battles, but at this point, I don't even know if that's going to happen. It seems that there are a lot of people that want it not only in arcade, but in realistic battles. So it would seem that any of us that want a truly realistic tank simulation of sorts, or at least something close to it in a free-to-play game, we're going to have to go to simulator battles. And, well, as long as they don't take this third mode away from us, then I guess that's where I'm going to be, if that's what it takes. Beyond all that, I think everything's about the same as what you can find in a realistic battle mode. The handling is the same. They aren't forcing you to use a manual transmission yet. It's optional. You can apply those settings. Right now we're just using automatic in this video. You don't have to use any type of joystick or anything to get in here. I'm just using mouse and keyboard for now. And yeah, I think that about covers it. For some reason, they still have a respawn mechanic, which I think only works if you have control of your base or the central objective. If it's contested, then you might not be able to respawn. Hopefully they get rid of that. I think that respawning in a realistic or simulation game is bad. But let's get back to the game at hand. You can see we've got a T-70 rolling up. Bombadil's to my rear, and I set him on fire. I'm yelling at Bombadil, keep shooting, because he's still rolling. He's not eliminated yet. He can put another shot into us. As you can see there, I take some damage from him, and we just want to keep letting him have it. Bombadil finally gets the elimination, and that's the problem. Even though they're on fire, they still have the power to fight until it finally burns them up or they explode. You'd be thinking that that crew would want to bail out the second they've got that much fire in their tank. Of course, this is a video game and it is beta, so who knows what's going to happen in the future with that type of mechanic. But anyway, first unit down. Not too many problems with lighter vehicles, but I find that even with this long barrel 75mm main gun on the Panzer IV here, I still have problems dealing with KV-1s and T-34s. It would seem that I'm usually able to penetrate the tanks, but I'm generally not doing enough damage. It's, again, almost as if there's some sort of invisible hit point system. I remember the first wave of beta that I was in, the damage model was beautiful, and it just seemed to get progressively worse over time. Right now, it just seems that T-34s, KV-1s, KV-2s, very problematic. And we're talking even at ranges of 100 meters or less. In some cases, point blank, you're shooting at known weak spots, known historical weak spots, and these things are just not going down. And trust me, I've fought my fair share of T-34s. In fact, I've spent most of this phase of beta in German tanks just to see if I'm crazy. And between me and Bombadil and a bunch of other people, we're not. However, again, it's beta, so I'm not going to say too much. There's only so much you can do. Communication with the developers seems to be limited to patch notes. There really isn't much in regards to what their vision is. It would seem that the community is mostly running itself within the forums. There's a lot of polls. Do you want this? Do you want that? Yes, no, why? And, you know, part of me is afraid for the game. I'm hoping that at least we can get simulator battles to go our way. Again, I feel like we're being chased out of the other modes by people that want World of Tanks with better graphics. I don't know. It's just what it seems like. Now, at this point in the match, Bombadil and I were just really being super cautious. Again, when we're dealing with Russian threats, we, for the most part, are one-hit kills. And we're just trying to watch all of these areas. I was looking at their spawn, see if anybody else would show up. I told him to look at the other side to make sure that nobody came in from that flank. And we're just taking our time. We've got a friendly capturing the alpha objective, and we're just looking all around, playing it safe. I love the fact that there are no name tags. You have to change the way you play completely, and it's so satisfying to at least feel that level of realism in a game again. That challenge that people are so afraid of. It's fantastic. You can actually take advantage of camouflage. Use tree cover, hide behind rocks. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't see why people wouldn't agree with it unless they're just used to having things the easy way. Also, keep in mind that my discussing that is in regards to realistic and simulator battles. I really don't care what happens in arcade mode. That's completely fine if people want to respawn or have different handling and bullet drop indicators. Whatever, as long as it stays in another mode, I'll be in realistic, or it seems like actually I'll be in simulator now. But, you know, here I'm just telling Bombadil to flank left. I'm going right because we figure that we've got a hostile in the objective. So at this point, we're talking about just getting some proper reconnaissance, figuring out which way he's looking. And if I see him looking at me, I'll then tell Bombadil to flank him. And if Bombadil sees him looking his direction, then I'll be the one to flank. And the other order I gave was to not engage. If he's sighted, fall back. Because again, at this range, we are one-shot kills. And don't worry, I'm not being too mean. When I say order, it's just usually a friendly suggestion over voice comms. Also, I do want to mention that it is kind of cool being on top of the tank like this. This makes you feel like you are the commander outside of the cupola. Although, I can't wait till they get some sort of interior done for the tanks because, well, let's face it, if you're in a combat situation, you don't want to be unbuttoned and exposed. But at this point, Bombadil had hollered at me, hey, he's looking my direction, he's shooting, you can see the shot go out. I decide to drive as fast as I can to flank him. But the T-34 notices my position. He's bringing his turret around. Doesn't seem like he's reloaded in time. I put one into him, setting him on fire. He explodes. Gone. Thankfully there, he didn't have a chance to get a shot out. Otherwise, he might have been able to take me with him. So at this point, it's just about capturing an objective. And I think Bombadil was actually damaged. He was in the process of repairing his tank. And you can see this flaming wreck is about to disappear, unfortunately. But if you look off into the distance on the road there is a tank that's on fire that has remained in the game. So I really don't know what the deal is with that. I'm hoping that eventually just all the tank wrecks will remain, especially if you have a gameplay mode that doesn't have respawn. It really adds to the immersion, and I think it can change the way you play the game as well, because sometimes you might be able to use the wreck as cover. Now, I had mentioned that Bombadil was repairing himself, and yes, unfortunately, that's currently a thing. I'm guessing that that will be something that will eventually go away, especially if you're going to call this simulation mode. But right now, you can upgrade to a repair kit or repair parts within your tech tree. There's also a fire extinguisher upgrade, which I'm okay if it's a handheld manual extinguisher and if the tanks actually had them. But I'm not okay if it's some sort of automatic system that the tanks didn't actually have. And with the repair kit, I'm against being able to repair on the field in a simulator mode because, well, you just can't do it. If your horizontal turret drive is out, something's wrong with the gun breech or some other vital component, well, you're screwed. And at most, maybe you should be able to go drive back to base just like you can in War Thunder Air Forces, but you shouldn't be able to repair your tank on the field in combat within a minute or two. I just think that's a bit silly. And again, I'm okay with those things existing in arcade mode, to a lesser extent realistic battles, but when we're talking about simulator, I'm really trying to defend this mode and keep it, well, simulator. As you can see, Bombadil finally making his way up after repairing his tank. Fortunately, when you are repairing, you are at least immobile. That's one thing, but we are just trying to cap. And for some reason, the physics or the handling of tanks is really poor when you're on this cement platform. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's been a problem for some time now. Anyways, you can see that we're managing to cap. I don't see any targets. We're just trying to watch all of these flanks. I continue to look around because, well, let's face it, in this mode, in a German tank, I am super paranoid. However, as you can see, we are awaiting results, so we'll be able to take a look at some of the unlocks I've received as well as our statistics. A fantastic display of teamwork and tactics. Bombadil did really well in that match as well. Always a team effort, and as I always say, any game is best played with friends. However, I also want to take the time to mention that, you know, this mode isn't going to be for everyone. It is simulator battles. It's simulating reality. It's going to be difficult and challenging, but I would hope that some of you are actually looking for that. I know that my community is generally built of people looking for a more realistic or true-to-life experience, and I think that this has the potential to be it, but Gaijin has to build it correctly, and they have to listen to those of us that grew up with true sims. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense to have a game with 3 modes that cater to one audience. Does it? In relation to that, you might have noticed that there really weren't that many players, and that's mostly because a lot of the testers don't even know that simulation battles are active. In fact, this might be one of the first sim battle videos that you see on YouTube. And if you are into simulation, go ahead and check it out. We could use you there. But, you know, take it seriously, play right, and you'll have a lot of fun. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I will definitely see you on the next one.